Hi, I want to give you a quick and informal introduction into Houdini 19's new grooming workflow. This is a redesigned and rewritten workflow for 19, much faster and interactive, so more pleasant to work with. So I hope you enjoy. First, I want to give a shout out to our developer Kai, who made this new tool. To start with, I created this template geometry accessible through the template geometry tab menu option here. Set this part to grooming so you can access the correct radio menus in the viewport. Then make sure you have the diet process tab. Then click on Groom, set the geometry, and hit enter to confirm. That will drop down a new object under your original head. So once you enter here, this is the main node we're interested in. Currently, we're already in the drawing mode, so you can start drawing immediately. You can see it's really fast. The geometry is not cached elsewhere. It's just stored inside this HDA, and therefore inside the HIP file. It's not procedural. It's part of the reason why it's so fast. So it's more like an organic workflow. You could totally just maximize this viewport and just work in here, and all the options you would need is accessible through the radio menu. But just for the purpose of this video, I'm also leaving the parameter interface here so you can kind of see the more, I guess, in-depth options compared to this is more the important ones. So I already shown you how to draw stuff. It's going to automatically attach the hair to the character, and it will follow the direction you draw it. If you hold down C, this will bring up the radio menu, and in Create, Draw is where we select the draw mode. I can also change it to other modes: Move, Plant, Relax. But before we do that, I want to show you there are additional options tied to each mode. So in the draw mode, as you can see here, it's displayed here or here. The two options above on the first level shows you all the options that's relevant to the current mode. So say if I switch to plant mode, the two option changes. So let's go back to draw and look at this. If we select that draw on skin, and by the way, all the white bordered one, they are currently active. So if I say draw on skin, you can see that the hair will be attached to the surface of the geometry. I can disable that. I'll go back. Currently we're in fixed segment mode. What that means is that if you highlight the points, you can see each curve has a fixed number of points, no matter how long they are. There is an option to go to adaptive segment mode, in which case you can see the points getting added as you draw. Also, if you don't like anything you draw, just hit Ctrl Z. Just reverse the process very naturally. If you want to get rid of everything, you can click clear here, and that just clears everything. Now, more on draw options. Ooh, sorry. Oh, we're in a different mode, so let's go back to draw. We have this option sheet here that says parting line, curve type. We'll go back to this. This is a different type of curve. This basically creates, if we select that. Oh, by the way, to select anything, you can just hover your cursor above it and release the C key. That sets it. In this case, while this line is attached to the surface, this is the place where the hair can part. So if you have a character that have a hair parting here, then this provides the separation. But we'll return to this after we explain a bit about plant here, so that give you a better example. So for plant, if we don't have any hair currently, it's just going to use the default length, and I'm going to bump up my density a bit. Oh, now you can see this is just very quickly create hair, like a short buzz cut or something. And if you hold down middle mouse button, you can delete it, and mouse wheel will change the size of your radio selector. What if you have already created some hair using draw? If you did that and then you switch to part mode, it will let me see, just to be sure that I'm doing the right thing. Oh, I'm drawing on the surface. Let's clear that and change it to not parting line, change it to guide curve type, the original hair. So agree. Disable draw on skin. Cool. Now what I want to show you is, in case you have already drawn some hair like this as a general indicator of what you want to look like, if you go to plant now, it's gonna interpolate between the hairs you've drawn. This is one example. Another example, we can move over here to the eye. We can create some eyelashes. Just sparsely populate a few as sort of guide. Then you can change to plant. This time, instead of using scatter mode, where we scatter basically a bunch of hair at the same time, we can change it to single mode, where you can just click and create interpolated hair where you're clicking. So it's pretty handy. Now let's clear that. Now we can go back to the parting part. So I'm gonna draw the parting line right here. Now I'm gonna draw a bunch of, oh, that is not the parting line. I keep making this mistake. Hover, release. You can see the curve type indicated over there, just to be sure. Now that's the parting line. Now I want to draw a few guides. The ones below and the ones above. Now I'm going to switch to plant, scatter mode. Now you can see that when I scatter hair, that creates this. It follows the rule of parting that you set over here. Okay, let's see what else is in the drawing option. I think we pretty much covered the draw option. Now let's talk about move. Move basically lets you move the root of the hair and everything else along with it. Relax. You can create a bit of brush. Relax basically even out the density of the roots, so they're more evenly spaced out. That's what relax does. Then you could also, oh sorry, it's just a hard place to see. Similar to the move and relax option, you can go to the brush. If you select brush, this will let you move more like large chunks of hair at the same time. This is more like rotating the hair around its roots. So this is kind of like if you have a comb or something and you're combing the hair. But there is another interesting option, which in some cases is more organic. It's sculpt. So 2 down. Using the sculpt option, it's a bit like you have hair gel and you're just shaping your hair. It's very satisfying and responds really fast. And bring it down too. Change the radius of the thing. Another interesting and I guess non-realistic thing is while you are in the sculpt mode, you can go to options and deselect constraint length. Now you can magically stretch the hair. Like that. Now if you think that, wait a second, this is, first off, this is not looking alright. We have several options we can do. We can keep using sculpting to select constraint length this time. Now we can smooth it out like that. Another option to smooth things out is to go to brush, straighten. I can also straighten our hair. And what's the next thing I want to show? Oh yeah, let's say like this hair is too long. Now we can go to brush, adjust length. Now it's like you have a scissor. If you hold down middle mouse button, you trim down the hair, and left click will add it. Now since these hairs are sticking out here, it's a nice option to demonstrate another feature, which is simulate physics. So there's two ways I know you can do it. One is using Shift L. So if you hit Shift L, it's not going to change the time. So I'm going to show you the timeline. It's not going to change the timeline, but it's going to enable physics like that. And if you hit Shift L again, it goes to a rest state. Now you can keep sculpting in this state. I'm gonna go to sculpt. Let's say I'm gonna do something weird here. I'm not a groomer, so forgive me for the bad visuals. Let's say I'll do something like this, and we can simulate it again, and it will retain some of the things you just sculpted, and you can just keep going, jumping back and forth between sculpting and everything else. There's also a brush that just automatically enables physics. So in the sculpt section, you can do sculpt with physics. So every time, basically, I think the physics currently live simulation is on, you can turn it off. Now every time you hold down the left mouse button, it will simulate physics, and once you release, it stops, like so. And you can read more about what these options are in the help menu. You can go to question mark and bring out the documentation, and you can read more here. Okay, let me just clear this for a second. Let's see. While we're in the plant mode, let me bump up the density a bit higher this time. Let's say we do something like, I think the current one is good for demonstration purposes. So if I painted my head with certain density, and now I decide that that density is too high, in order to like uniformly reduce it, you could use the remove cull option. Now you can change the new density that you want. Let's say that. Now if you start to paint, it depends on how much original hair you have. Can be a bit slow, but basically it will remove it down to, this probably has something to do with the algorithm that you used to detect that. Let me just make it a slightly less extreme example still to make it go faster. Okay, now it's better. It's a 10-time difference versus a 100-time difference previously. Now it basically reduces the density. I think I might be doing something wrong. This is like doing too much. I'll double check later, but that's the basic idea of the quality. It reduces density. This might be a bug, or I'm doing something wrong. The other remove option just removes hair, the same way that middle mouse button will remove hair sometimes. Okay, what else is interesting here? Let's see. Brush. We have adjust length, which is that lift, straighten. You can try those. Let's do a few here. Draw. Plant. Okay. Let's go lift. Let's see what lift does. changes the orientation of the hair relative to the stream plane. So I think the way it does is like, let me push it down first, then try lift. Yeah, that's what it does. It kind of lifts it up. And this is looking terrible. Let me straighten them. Another option that's similar to straighten is in the stop session, smooth. Like smoothed out like fine details. This is not a great example. Let's draw some crazy curve on this side. Let's see if a smooth will. I think it has to operate on very fine details. So I'm not showing a super good example. It probably has to do with the point count, so that there's not enough points. How do I do this? Draw, change it to adaptive. Smooth. Now you can see here, yep. Yeah, smooth is more for like fine details, whereas straighten is more powerful in a way. As you can see. Okay. Clumping, yeah, let's do clumping. That one is interesting. So, have from here. Plant. Give me more hair. Let me increase that a bit. Okay. So for clump, the default mode is so like it grabs this whole chunk of hair, clumps it. You can have more fine control if you go to per point, so you can like taper it. In this case, it works instead of on strands, it works on like the points that's on the strand. Like so. I can probably using brush or sculpt to bring it down. You can see that brush sculpt is more controlled sometimes. It's really quite satisfying and fast to work with. If you know what you're doing. I clearly don't know what I'm doing. Alright. So we talked about those. Transform handles will let you control the points using the traditional handles, but that's a bit more advanced, I guess less frequently used, so I will not be showing this short video. Blur is to average out the shaping of adjacent hair. That's what a blur does. Okay. What else? I think we pretty much talked about everything here. Now, let's say I painted. Let's say I want to separate different parts of my grooming into different groups. Now we can do that. Let me bring out a geometry spreadsheet. Here now you see there's a name attribute. Currently everything is main. It's basically the active group or the active name here, sorry, the active name here. That's the attribute assigned to everything here. So if I wanted to create new grooms, let's want to do like eyelashes or something, or eyebrows, I could enter the tool, go to draw, press Shift N. Here, to change my active name, now I'm going to call this one eyebrow. Now, let me just check. Everything is what I wanted. Okay. Now this group will be a different primitive group. You can see here they belong to the eyebrow with a different name. Now you can very easily separate what's what, and you can see them from this. So easiest way to see this is to choose the disable lighting version of it. So when you set the active name to eyebrow, you click select primitive with this name, it will show you this one, and you can go to main, it will show you that's that one. Now let's say I want to break the system and say this is eyebrow too. So what we can do is go to eyebrow, select that, then see group and mask, paint, group tool. Now when I paint, I'm assigning these guys to the eyebrow group. The other thing you could do similarly is paint mask. If you paint mask, currently I'm not visualizing it, but you can see that there's a new attribute created here. Similarly to that, the group thing is our name, and primitive, the mask is over here, I think. Let me just double check. Yeah, we created that mask. As you can see, yeah, you can probably visualize it downstream using a color node or something. Also, sometimes if you realize things are not responsive, it might be because this group is not empty, so that it's isolated the operation to a certain group. Now let me just clear that. If you have previously created some groom using the hair gen, and you have data in here, what you can do is you just hook up this to the guides option, and it will basically do an import of your original existing data. And be sure to, you can be sure to like click clear, so you don't have anything hand drawn on this node before you do that. Then you hook it up, then you import the original data you have. After that, even if you disconnect it, it's gonna record the data you have inside this node. Then you can get rid of that afterwards. So that's how you can import previous work into this new workflow. Another thing that's kind of interesting is we can start some hair first. We can do like the hair generation whole process. Let me just draw something first, like that. I want to show you, you can also mirror this. If you just click on mirror, so you're drawing on one side, it draws to the other side as well. Okay, let's say we have some really mohawk or something. I'm going to simulate with the physics a little bit. I regret that decision. There's an option to reset that. Let me see. Oh, I can just control Z. There we go. Okay, so we're just gonna add hair like this. we're gonna jump out and click on. I think that's in a different tab. Generate hair. Let's do that. Now we generate hair, like so. So with the hair generated, you can keep working. So the hair generation happening downstream from the groom, but you can keep working on the groom. It might slow down a little bit just because of the hair, but now you can see better. Let me just give this character a color or something. I can see several jokes about blue skin characters, but we're not gonna go there. All right, let's strobe. Here we go. Now you can see it's way more direct. You can see exactly what's going on playing with this hair. And we can do the same things as we did before. You can go to brush, adjust length, create some crazy long hair, and we can use the brush, bring it down. I just said before, brush changes the orientation around the root. You can see that happening here. And you can also, of course, you can do sculpt with the fillets, like that. And I think you disable that because that would be too crazy to simulate live. But you can definitely do sculpt. What's the error? Should be required on drives. If you see that error happening, you could do I think it's called attribute. Here, Groom attribute. Groom string attribute lookup. Okay, this one. So guide string attribute lookup. The left takes guide and right takes string. So you just do that. Just string and the output's guide. So now that fits the issue. If you see that bug over there. Now we can go back to some happy sculpting. Not in node. Okay. Sculpt. Of course, you have a strength and softness and all the options. You can change the hair stiffness on this tab as well. So yeah. And it's happening on both sides. I just want to give this character some epic hair. Flying in the wind. It's really fast. I mean, like, this character looks really fast. That's what I meant. Cool. I think that's about everything. You can read more through the help, and I can't promise on other people's behalf, but hopefully our developers will have time to make masterclass or in more professional tutorial than this one. But this gives you a general idea of what you can do with this tool, and I hope you play around with it, and the speed and the interactivity that's unique to this version hopefully will make it a viable solution to your pipeline. Thank you.